Did you know that most seniors who develop cancer actually share a few common causes? If you're over 60 and believe that cancer is just something that happens with age, this message is especially for you. New research shows that cancer is not just about bad luck or getting older. More often, it's the result of patterns we've lived with for years, patterns we never realized were quietly harming us. And the surprising part? These habits are more common in older adults than anyone else. This isn't about fear. It's about power. It's about giving you the truth, based on real science and decades of research from doctors who study aging and disease. Because when you understand the real reasons, you can make small but powerful changes that could protect your body, your peace of mind, and your precious time with the people you love. If you're someone who tries to do everything right, eating better, staying active, keeping up with your checkups, but still feels that silent worry that cancer might be waiting in the shadows, then this video is for you. We're about to reveal 5 often overlooked causes of cancer in seniors, things that most people ignore, dismiss, or simply don't know. Each one will not only open your eyes but offer you something even greater: hope. Hope that it's not too late. Hope that you're still in control. Hope that your best years can still be ahead of you. Let's begin with the first major cause: chronic inflammation. This is one of the most silent but deadly threats facing older adults today. And sadly, very few people in their 60s, 70s, or even 80s are told about it. We usually think of inflammation as a short-term thing, a swollen ankle, a sore throat. But when inflammation lingers for months or even years, it starts quietly setting the stage for cancer. Here's how: your immune system is built to protect you. It kicks into action when there's a threat. But if that immune system is constantly on, always fighting, it can start to harm your healthy cells, damage your DNA, and disrupt the systems that are supposed to keep you safe. Over time, this low-level inflammation becomes the perfect environment for cancer to grow, especially in older bodies that are already more vulnerable. So what causes chronic inflammation? It's rarely just one big event. It's usually the result of everyday habits we've come to see as normal: eating processed foods, not getting enough sleep, living with constant stress, sitting too much, or ignoring dental problems. The problem is, these things don't cause immediate pain. You don't feel a tumor growing inside you. But slowly, this invisible fire chips away at your body's defenses. Many older adults make the mistake of brushing off pain or fatigue as just getting older. That mindset can be dangerous. When you accept stiffness, bloating, or low energy as normal, you stop asking questions, and cancer can go unnoticed until it's too late. I remember a man named Harold, 76 years old. He'd been feeling bloated and tired for almost a year. He thought it was just part of aging. But by the time he went for a checkup, he was diagnosed with advanced pancreatic cancer. The saddest part? His blood work from 2 years earlier showed signs of inflammation, but no one told him it mattered. That's the tragedy. But it's also where hope begins. Because here's the truth: chronic inflammation can be reversed. You can heal. Even if you've lived most of your life with less than perfect habits, it's never too late to take your health back. Simple steps like eating anti-inflammatory foods, like vegetables, berries, and fish, moving your body daily, praying or meditating to reduce stress, and staying connected with others, these can dramatically reduce your risk. So if you're sitting there thinking, "That sounds like me," don't feel discouraged. Feel empowered. Because the power is still in your hands. Every day you wake up is a chance to protect your body, take control, and live longer and stronger. And this is just the beginning. Because naming the problem is the first step toward healing. And understanding the role of chronic inflammation might just be the wake-up call that saves your life. Now, let's talk about number 2, poor gut health. Most people think of the gut as just a digestion center: you eat, it processes, you move on. But in truth, your gut is more like mission control for your entire body. And when it's out of balance, the damage goes far beyond just indigestion or constipation. Doctors and scientists now understand that poor gut health weakens the immune system, raises inflammation levels, and yes, it can directly increase the risk of cancer. Your gut is home to trillions of bacteria, called the microbiome. These tiny organisms can either protect you from cancer, or let cancer grow freely, depending on how well you care for them. What does poor gut health look like in everyday life? For many seniors over 60, gut diversity slowly declines. Maybe you've noticed you can't eat the way you used to. Certain meals leave you feeling heavy, sluggish, or mentally foggy. That's not just old age, it's your gut crying out for help. A diet filled with processed foods, too much sugar, and not enough fiber allows harmful bacteria to take over. This damages the gut lining, leaks toxins into the blood, and silently stresses your immune system. And here's the scary part, sometimes there are no obvious symptoms. You might not have stomach issues at all, but behind the scenes, your immune system is struggling, and you don't even know it. Many older adults overlook gut health simply because they can't see it. You can't feel your microbiome. You can't watch your immune cells weakening. So it's easy to dismiss, to assume, well, I'm still eating, so I must be fine. But that quiet neglect can build up over the years. I had a close friend named Carol, 73 years old. She'd eaten white bread toast and sweet coffee for breakfast every day for decades. She thought it was harmless. But over time, her energy declined, her immunity weakened, and eventually she was diagnosed with colon cancer. I'll never forget what her doctor told her: we have to rebuild your gut if we want to rebuild your health. The good news is, the gut can heal. Even in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, your body is ready to recover. You can start by adding simple foods like yogurt, sauerkraut, or kefir. Increase your fiber with fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Cut back on sugary, processed snacks. Even a gentle habit like drinking warm water with lemon in the morning can help restore balance. Your body is always trying to protect you, but it can only use the tools you give it. Take care of your gut, and you're not just avoiding gas or indigestion, you're building a strong defense against one of the most dangerous diseases of aging. If you're still watching this video and finding it helpful, drop a comment with the number 2, so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a message that could save your life. Now, let's move forward. Number 3, chronic inflammation, revisited. When most people hear the word inflammation, they think of a swollen ankle or sore joint. But the type we're talking about here is much more dangerous, and much harder to notice. This is chronic low-level inflammation, happening silently inside your body. You can't feel it, you can't see it, and yet it creates the perfect environment for cancer cells to grow. Unlike a visible injury that heals over time, this kind of inflammation just keeps burning, slow, deep, and unnoticed for years. Inflammation, in its normal form, is your body's way of sounding the alarm. It fights infection, repairs injury, it's a survival tool. But when that alarm never shuts off, because of things like poor diet, long-term stress, smoking, untreated arthritis or diabetes, it turns from protector into enemy. That constant inflammation begins to damage healthy cells, weaken organs, and mutate your DNA. And that, my friend, is the recipe for cancer. The worst part? Many seniors normalize the symptoms: fatigue, brain fog, stiffness, and assume it's just part of aging. But often, it's inflammation whispering that something deeper is wrong. Left unchecked, this slow fire can lead to tumors forming in the colon, liver, lungs, or pancreas without you ever realizing it. But just like with gut health, there's hope. You can cool that fire. Anti-inflammatory foods like berries, leafy greens, turmeric, olive oil, and fatty fish can help. Gentle exercise, deep breathing, quality sleep, and meaningful social interaction all help bring the body back into balance. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. One better choice at a time. This steady, Silent damage can lead to dangerous changes in your cells, mutations that, once they begin multiplying, bring you face to face with cancer. What makes this especially concerning is how easily inflammation becomes a normal part of daily life as we age. Mild aches, constant fatigue, brain fog, many seniors experience these symptoms and brush them off, assuming it's just part of getting older. But what if it's not just aging? What if it's inflammation quietly burning under the surface? That kind of thinking, this is just how aging feels, isn't just outdated, it's dangerous. I remember a neighbor of mine named Harold. He was 76, had a puffy red face, always looked tired, and used to complain about the constant pain in his back and hands. But he'd laugh it off, saying, "This is what happens after 70. The truth? His body was caught in a non-stop cycle of inflammation. And by the time doctors finally took a closer look, they found a tumor growing in his liver, likely fed by years of unchecked inflammatory signals. But here's the hopeful part: you can fight inflammation, and you don't need a drawer full of pills to do it. Just 30 minutes of walking a day can lower inflammation levels in your body. So can eating the right foods, like dark leafy greens, berries, turmeric, walnuts, and salmon. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in certain nuts and fish, are powerful inflammation fighters. And it's not just about food. Emotional stress is also a major trigger for inflammation. Practicing deep breathing, meditation, prayer, or even spending quiet time in nature can help calm your body's internal alarm system. The key is awareness. Don't ignore signs like constant stiffness, lingering fatigue, or mental fog. If something feels off in your body and it lasts more than a week or two, pay attention. You wouldn't ignore a fire alarm going off in your home, so don't ignore the one going off inside your body. This silent threat may not knock loudly, but once it enters, it doesn't leave easily. That's why managing inflammation isn't just about feeling better, it's about survival. Taming it could be the difference between a long, healthy life, and a painful fight with an illness you never saw coming. Now, let's talk about something just as important, and just as misunderstood. Number 4, neglecting gut health. Most people don't realize this, but the health of your gut has a direct impact on your cancer risk. And no, we're not just talking about bloating or digestion. We're talking about your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living inside your intestines, and how they affect your immune system, inflammation, and how your body processes toxins. When your gut falls out of balance, everything else begins to fall apart too, including your body's natural defenses against cancer. Think of your gut not as a food tube, but as a command center, a place where nutrients are absorbed, waste is filtered, and signals are sent to keep your entire system running smoothly. In a healthy gut, good bacteria help you digest food, protect the gut lining, and support your immune system. But when that balance is disturbed, due to aging, stress, poor diet, or even too many antibiotics, those good bacteria start dying off. Harmful bacteria move in, and the gut lining becomes weak. That allows toxins to leak into your bloodstream, a condition known as leaky gut. And research now links leaky gut to autoimmune diseases and even cancer. For seniors, this is a growing concern. As we get older, our gut bacteria naturally change. We might eat fewer fruits and vegetables, rely on more processed foods, or take medications that hurt gut health. All of this creates the perfect storm for poor digestion, lower immunity, and yes, higher cancer risk. The saddest part? Most seniors have no idea it's happening. They think, "I'm just not as regular as I used to be," or "my stomach feels off," but that's probably nothing. But sometimes, it is something. I remember a woman named Nancy. She was 69, always kind and full of energy, and she spent her life caring for others, especially her grandkids. She didn't think much about her gut. Breakfast was usually toast and coffee, lunch was light, and dinner came late. But slowly, her energy started to drop. Her digestion got worse. She began having mood swings and wasn't sleeping well. It wasn't until she was diagnosed with early-stage colon cancer that her doctor connected the dots. Her gut health had been declining for years. The good news? The gut can heal, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Start by adding fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, or sauerkraut. Increase your fiber intake with fruits, vegetables, lentils, and whole grains. Cut back on sugary, processed snacks. Even simple habits like drinking warm water with lemon in the morning or walking after meals can make a big difference. The gut may be hidden, but when it's healthy, your entire body feels stronger. Nancy had done everything right. She didn't smoke, avoided sugar, and took long walks every single day. But then came the stomach aches, mild at first, then more frequent. Her digestion became irregular, but every time she mentioned it to her doctor, it was brushed off as normal for her age. Still, something didn't sit right. She kept pushing for answers. And finally, tests revealed the truth: early-stage colon cancer. It turned out her gut bacteria had been out of balance for years, slowly feeding inflammation and weakening her body's natural defenses. If she hadn't listened to her instincts, the outcome could have been much worse. So what can you do to protect your gut and your life? Start by feeding the good bacteria. That means eating more fiber-rich foods like oats, beans, apples, berries, and leafy greens. Add in fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, or kimchi. These help restore the good bacteria and strengthen the lining of your intestines. Next, limit the foods that harm your gut: refined sugar, processed meats, too much alcohol, and anything overly packaged or artificial. Finally, stay hydrated. Your gut needs water to keep everything moving and to support the healthy balance of your microbiome. Think of your gut like a garden. If you ignore it, the weeds take over. But if you nurture it, even a little each day, it will reward you in powerful, invisible ways. Cancer prevention doesn't always start in a hospital. Sometimes, it starts in your kitchen, your grocery list, or how you treat your body on a quiet afternoon. When your gut suffers, your whole body feels the weight. But when your gut thrives, it becomes one of your greatest defenses in the fight against disease. If you've made it this far in the video and found this information helpful, please comment number 4 below. It lets me know you're here and that you're invested in your health. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and tap the bell, so you never miss a message that could protect your life. Now, let's move forward. Number 5, ignoring emotional suppression. When we think of cancer, we often focus on the physical, our diet, toxins, our genetics. But one of the most overlooked and deeply underestimated causes of disease, especially cancer, is long-term emotional suppression. That's right, bottled up feelings. Unresolved grief. Chronic resentment. Silent guilt. The trauma we never talk about. These don't just weigh on the heart, they wear down the body. For many seniors, this emotional weight has been building for decades. You might be thinking, I've been through hard times, but I'm fine. That mindset is common, especially in older generations. Many of you grew up in a time when feelings weren't discussed. Crying was seen as weakness. Sharing emotions was considered unnecessary, or even shameful. But here's what we now know: the body remembers what the mind tries to forget. The stress chemicals released when we suppress emotions, cortisol, adrenaline, they don't just fade away. They stay active in the body, quietly increasing inflammation, weakening the immune system, and slowly opening the door to disease. Let me tell you about George. He was 75, a Vietnam veteran I met at a wellness retreat. Strong. Disciplined. Stoic. He had never smoked, ate clean, exercised daily, yet was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. His doctors couldn't figure out why. But when I sat with him, George shared something he hadn't told anyone in 50 years, not his wife, not his children. He had been carrying guilt, sorrow, and trauma from the war for most of his adult life. He said, I didn't want to burden anyone. But the truth was, he had been burdening himself, silently, daily. And it was taking a toll. Modern research supports what many ancient and holistic traditions have long believed: chronic emotional stress can lead to physical disease. High cortisol levels disrupt your hormones, affect immune responses, and change the cellular environment, making the body more vulnerable to cancer. Especially in older adults, whose systems are already more fragile, emotional suppression becomes a slow and quiet internal war. So what can you do? First, recognize that your feelings matter. Your grief, your joy, your regret, they all deserve space. Talk to someone. Write in a journal. Pray. Cry if you need to. Let it out. There is no shame in expressing your emotions. In fact, it may be the very thing that saves your health. Release the emotional weight you've been carrying, because your body is listening. And your body wants to heal. It's never too late to talk. Never too late to open up, to share, or to begin the journey of healing. That might mean speaking with a counselor, writing down your thoughts in a quiet moment, joining a support group, or simply having a deep, honest conversation with someone you trust. What matters is that you give yourself permission to feel, without shame or fear. Whether it's grief from losing a loved one, regret over decisions made long ago, or the quiet loneliness that sometimes comes in the middle of the night, feeling those emotions doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. One small but powerful habit you can start today is taking just 5 minutes to sit quietly and ask yourself, how am I really feeling? Not how you're supposed to feel, how you actually feel. That single question can gently open doors within you, doors that may have been closed for years. And when you open those doors, your body can finally begin to let go of what it's been holding on to, often in silence. You see, our mind and body are deeply connected. When emotional wounds are ignored, they don't go away, they fester. But when we face them, when we name them and give them air, healing begins, not just emotionally, but physically too. Many older adults have lived through wars, loss, hardship, and sacrifice. You've carried heavy burdens, but you don't have to carry them alone anymore. Facing your emotions, even now, could be the most important step you ever take toward a healthier, more peaceful life. A few final thoughts. If you're still here, I want to thank you, truly. Not just for watching, but for caring enough to learn, to reflect, and maybe even to change. The word cancer carries a heavy weight: fear, uncertainty, a feeling of helplessness. But information gives us power. And understanding the hidden reasons behind why so many seniors face illness is the first step toward taking back control. Each point we've covered today, the chemicals we bring into our homes without knowing, the food we eat out of habit, the pain we suppress, the care we delay, it all adds up. Not all at once, but slowly, over the years. And the best part? That means we can start unpacking it, one decision at a time. You are not powerless. Even at 60, 70, 85, your body can still heal. Your mind can still grow. And your spirit, your will to live well, is still alive and strong. That's something no diagnosis, no setback, no number on a chart can take from you. I've seen too many people ignore the early signs, the strange ache, the quiet fatigue, the small lump they hoped would disappear. And I've seen others who listened to those whispers, made changes, and added years of joyful, vibrant life they never expected. It wasn't luck. It was awareness. It was action. It was the belief that it's never too late. So if you take just one thing from this video, let it be this. You matter. Your choices matter. And your health is worth fighting for. Whether it's switching to healthier food, finally talking to someone about what's been on your heart, or simply asking better questions at your next doctor's visit, you have every right to seek a life that feels whole, peaceful, and free. We're all on this journey together. None of us can avoid aging, but how we age? That part is still in our hands. And I believe in you. I believe in your ability to take the next small, meaningful step, the kind of step that just might change everything. Thank you for being here today. Now we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned and how you plan to use it in your own life. Your words matter, and we read every one. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who might need it. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs, empowers, and inspires. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next video.